Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be showcasing 5 skin loadouts using the new skin system in Fortnite Save the World. Let's start. So the first loadout I have is the Dark Voyager with the Husk Warper hammer. Here's the rolls on my Husk Warper in case you're interested. They're not all legendary because I don't have a whole lot of reperk, but these should be the best rolls to go with nonetheless. Also, here's the loadout I went with. I went with Paleo Luna as commander, Blast from the Past team perk, Saurian Focus and Saurian Hide to activate the team perk, hardware crit rating, software, and rapid charge. I found the last perk was not really needed, so I think a healing perk like Survivalist or Coconuts, depending on which you like better, would definitely go better in this slot. This build uses Paleo Luna, but it really can be switched to any melee hero that you really enjoy. I just prefer Paleo Luna as my commander. This video is more focused around the themes of the skins, less focused around the builds, so feel free to just change it to fit your personal playstyle. Now, getting onto the gameplay, this combination was very fun to use. The Husk Warper is a weapon I really haven't used very much up until now, haven't really played around with it too much, and it's definitely one that I enjoy. Heavy attack on this weapon pulls in husks, kind of like a black hole type thing, which is definitely fitting for the whole space Dark Voyager theme. The AoE on this weapon is just amazing. The ability to take out an encampment in a matter of heavy attacks is just really good, and one which really no other weapon can introduce, apart from, say, the mythic weapons and maybe a few others. The single target damage on this thing isn't amazing or anything. The heavy attack really doesn't do a whole lot against high health enemies, but it's still good against kind of groups of enemies and multi-target kind of thing. I know not everyone's a fan of this hammer, but I personally think the weapon is quite a lot of fun. And this build will work even better when melee weapon wraps are introduced, because you could use a dark weapon wrap and make it fit the theme a lot more than it would previously. Now the next build I have is Ultimanite with the Stalwart Squire shotgun. These are the rolls on my shotgun. Again, they're not maxed, but they should still be the best rolls to go with. Here's my loadout for the build. I'm using Buckshot Raptor this time with Blast from the Past. You could use Totally Rocking Out, but I just preferred the consistency and health that you get with Blast from the Past, because it's really helpful in close quarters. My support team consisted of Saurian Hide and Might, Shell Shock, Plasma Arc, and Survivalist. You could change Plasma Arc for Locked and Reloaded, because you're going to be reloading this shotgun a lot, as it does only have one bullet in the magazine. I chose Plasma Arc so I could have a little bit more AoE than I would previously. The weapon itself is a very good choice for sure. I believe this was the best shotgun up until the Pulsar 9000. Which, let's be honest, is one of the best shotguns in the entire game. This shotgun is interesting, with one bullet in the magazine, meaning the reload perk should be maxed as soon as you can. Mine is definitely maxed, don't worry. This shotgun hits very hard and can hit multiple enemies at once, making it a very deadly weapon indeed, and one that I definitely recommend leveling up, as it is pretty good. Now, they did recently buff a whole bunch of shotguns. To my knowledge, this shotgun wasn't included in those buffs. This made a whole bunch of shotguns about the same level as this shotgun, if not better. So this probably isn't the best shotgun in the game anymore, but it's still a really good choice. The third build I have is a Yonder build with the Hot Mix pistol. These are my rolls, although I would definitely recommend switching the physical perk to energy, because in the gameplay my pistol wasn't really doing the best damage. Here's my hero loadout. I'm using Beetle Jess for pistol crit damage, Totally Rocking Out, Subwoofers, and Battle Beat. Plasma Arc, which I didn't get much use out of because the pistol was physical. Hip Shot, Locked and Reloaded. Again, this build is open to experimentation, so feel free to change these heroes to suit your playstyle. The gameplay for this skin is in a slightly lower level mission than the others, mainly because I had a very small amount of evolution materials. This was the first time I'd used the pistol, and I think it's kind of decent, if not good. As I mentioned earlier, this pistol was physical, meaning I'm dealing 25% of the damage against these elemental husks, which of course isn't good. I'm sure that if I changed it to energy, it wouldn't have been an issue. But the overall opinions on this weapon are mixed, to say the least, pun intended. If you're a fan of projectile-based weapons as well as pistols, I would highly recommend checking out this weapon. But if you prefer hit-scan type weapons, such as assault rifles and snipers and all that, this weapon may not be worth leveling up. The second to last build I have today is using X-Lord with the Huskbuster. I realise now that there are a lot of Season 10 skins on this list. I just really enjoy the look of a lot of them. I do apologise. But anyway, here are the rolls on my Huskbuster. You can go with either reload speed or magazine size. Either works. Also, here's the build I'm using. I'm using Breakbeat Wildcat for a little bit of a change. But Buckshot Raptor would go perfectly well in this situation too. The support build includes Subwoofers and Fumble to activate the team perk, as well as Critical Blast, Shell Shocked, and Waste Not Want Not. If you include that last perk, you'll want to roll reload speed on the shotgun, which I didn't do because I didn't realise that you don't need a whole lot of magazine on this shotgun, and that reload speed is actually quite a lot better. Another good hero in this slot, if you don't want to use magazine size, would be Locked and Reloaded, because you're reloading a lot with this shotgun. This build was really good, I would say. They recently buffed the Huskbuster along with its base game counterpart, the Stampede, and now it makes for a very interesting build indeed. I know I have two shotguns on this list, but I have to say I really enjoy both of them, which is why they're both on this list. The range on this Huskbuster is probably its only downside, because when I was shooting husks a little bit farther away, the shotgun really didn't do a whole lot of damage, and wouldn't be able to compete with likes of a double boiler or a ground pounder. That being said, this is by no means a bad shotgun. The damage up close with this thing is surprisingly good, and is the reason why I have it leveled up slightly more than the rest. Also because I heard that it was good and I already had it leveled up from before it got buffed. This weapon goes with the scavenger theme very nicely, and is definitely one I think you should try, either if you have the X-Lord skin or the Rustlord skin from Season 4. Both work really well. Now the final skin on this list is the Rogue Agent skin with the Tiger Assault Rifle. Now I got this idea for the build from the torches on the side of the Rogue Agent's head and the side of the Assault Rifle, which makes them match quite nicely, which is of course why it's on this list. Here are the rolls on my Tiger, and here's the build I went with. I went with Tactical Assault Sledgehammer with the Totally Rocking Out team perk, Subwoofers, Battle Beat, Assault Damage, Plasma Arc, and Waste Not Want Not. The Plasma Arc is very useful with this weapon, as it does have a very slow fire rate, but hits very hard, making the Arc deal a lot of damage. The Tiger used to be one of my favourite weapons back when Urban Assault Headhunter was the best hero in the game, before the rework. The fire rate that you could get with this weapon by getting headshots was just really good, and was what made the weapon good. And still today you can recreate that using Locked and Reloaded, but for that you need to completely change up the build. I'd considered doing a video on this rifle before it got buffed, but I thought it was kind of an old gun, and not really something that would be useful to a lot of players. But this weapon, like the Huskbuster, did get a buff with the 12.0 patch, although not by a whole lot. I think it was like a 5 damage increase or something, which is nothing too great, but it's not too bad either. It does go really well with the Rogue Agent skin, which is why I included it on this list. So there you have it, 5 skin loadouts using the new skin system in Save the World. This video is one that I definitely enjoyed making, because this update is just fantastic, amazing, one of the best updates of this game so far. Up there with the hero rework, I would say. I have plenty more loadouts and ideas and all that I have planned, so feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more of this kind of stuff. Also drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, it really helps. But that's been it from me, I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.